Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Chevy, and I am one of the co-owners of CB Sourcing. CB Sourcing is a global sourcing agency where we help businesses source products. We also help them learn how to profit off their products. And last but not least, we help them to sell their products. So today, we are going to be talking about how to source on 1688.com in 2022. So let's get started. What we will be learning today, we have 3 sections. The first section, we will be talking about what is 1688. The second section is what is the difference between 1688 and Alibaba? And then the third section is, can foreigners buy from 1688 directly? These are the things that you will need for this session. Number 1, you're going to need a speaker. So make sure you turn your speaker up so you can hear all of the information. And number 2, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to go get something to write with. Hopefully you have a pen and a notepad or a pencil in order for you to write down as many notes as possible. So I'll wait. So let's get started. What exactly is 1688? 1688 is a business-to-business wholesale and direct sales website from the Chinese market. It was actually founded by Jack Ma in 1999. Like Alibaba, 1688 is a business-to-business or a B2B e-commerce platform under the Alibaba Group. You can find any products or manufacturers that you want, and you can also purchase off of 1688.com. It's currently one of the largest B2B wholesale websites in China. All suppliers need to obtain a government business license to sell their products on 1688.com. And then all the suppliers also need to pay an annual membership fee of $1,000. 1688 is legit, and the sellers are real and they are not scammers. So 1688 is a website and it's all in Chinese, as you can see here. So we're going to be breaking down this entire website. We're going to be breaking down how to even purchase from this website, how to find products from this website, how to feel comfortable with sourcing on 1688.com. So you ask, I get this question all the time. Is 1688 real or is it fake? 1688 is a legit website and the sellers are real. They're not scammers. However, there's a lot of low-end companies on 1688. And just like anywhere in the world, you have to make sure you research and you research and you research and you buy samples and you keep researching and you buy more samples in order for you to build a relationship with the manufacturer or the supplier that you are working with. So like we will tell anyone on any platform that they are sourcing on, you have to make sure you build a relationship before you start purchasing from that actual supplier. So why buy from 1688? The reason most people buy from 1688 is nothing more than, number 1, the low prices. Most of the suppliers on 1688 are factories, unlike Alibaba. So buying from 1688 means that you can bypass agents, trade companies, and purchase goods directly from the factory. What's better is that the prices of the products on 1688 is relatively transparent, and the prices and products from 1 to 10,000 units are clearly marked. But the price of the product is related to the quantity purchased. The more you purchase, the lower the price. This price is usually the factory's pricing and does not include any shipping costs. When you purchase quantities of 2 or more units, the prices can be one price set, but when you purchase more than that, let's say 100 or plus units, the price decrease. If you purchase more than 100 units, the price decrease even more. Therefore, 1688 is friendly to small sellers and startups. If you are an entrepreneur, buying too much will result in a backlog of inventory, and that backlog of inventory is risky. So the minimum order requirement for 1688 is low, which is very convenient. So as you can see, these three factors, low prices, you speaking directly to the manufacturers or the factories, and low MOQs are the top reasons why you should buy from 1688. But their prices are based on the existing products of the factory. So if you need customized products, you still need to send an inquiry to the supplier to get a quote. 1688 is not really set up for custom orders, but we'll talk about that later. Alibaba versus 1688 prices. As you can see, the pictures on the left are two different companies that we researched on Alibaba. First, as you can see, the price for 10 to 29 pieces, which is the MOQ, the minimum order required, would be $11.98. Then you see the one on the left where it says 1 to 99 pieces, and the prices are $9.80. But when you look at 1688 prices, just for the 3 MOQ, the price is $6.75. But why is that? And that is because the manufacturers on 1688 are the actual factories. These are the business owners who are making the product, rather than you buying them on Alibaba, where they increase the profit or the price of the product 30 to 80%. So what is the difference between 1688, AliExpress, and Alibaba? Alibaba is the international wholesale version of 1688, and AliExpress is the international retail version of 1688. They are all B2B platforms, but 1688 suppliers and sellers are basically Chinese, and its business is conducted in China. So the main difference between the two, we'll get into more detail. However, is that the buyers of 1688 are Chinese, so the information is relatively more transparent. Buyers can quickly find specific addresses, companies' registration information, and the suppliers on 1688 that they need, and it makes it easier for them to identify who the plus. So let's talk about these differences between the three. As you can see, you have Alibaba, AliExpress, and 1688. But you may not know, some of this information may be very surprising to you because a lot of people don't know this information unless they research. So for Alibaba, as you can see, the market is mostly countries except for China. So they service international clients and buyers rather than in China buyers. For AliExpress, if you didn't know, a large portion of the sellers on that platform are mainly from Russia. For 1688, 99.9% are in the Chinese market. As you can see, all three markets are different. The target user for Alibaba, there's mostly wholesalers. For AliExpress, consumers. For 1688, manufacturers. The pricing for Alibaba is relatively low, and you can negotiate sometimes with the pricing. And they only offer B2B wholesale rates on Alibaba. For AliExpress, the prices are slightly higher. You cannot negotiate on AliExpress, and it is a low B2C friendly rates. For 1688, the pricing is low. You can negotiate with the manufacturer, and it is also a B2B only wholesale rated platform. For the MOQs for Alibaba, they're sometimes high. They usually start at around 100 units per MOQ. For AliExpress, there aren't any MOQs. Sometimes if you are drop shipping off of AliExpress, they will set a limit to 2. And then 1688, there's no to low MOQs. And the reason why we say no to low, and I'll explain in the other video, is that sometimes the MOQs can be 2, but they're definitely lower than Alibaba's 100 MOQ. Do you have buyer protection on these platforms? And the answer is yes. But with AliExpress, the answer is yes and no. And that's because if you do not pull or contact the manufacturer or the trade company or that business that you are buying from off of AliExpress, it is very, very hard for you to have buyer's protection. It's really good for AliExpress to contact or try to contact the manufacturer and get them on either WeChat, email, or WhatsApp. And that way you can conduct business and you can also ask them about buyer's protection. And then with private labeling, you can private label on Alibaba, also on 1688, depending on what the product is. But this is the biggest difference between 1688 and Alibaba. 80% of the suppliers on Alibaba are traders. They are trade companies, which means they purchase the products from 1688 and then they resell them to buyers. And 80% of the suppliers on 1688 are manufacturers. That is why the prices are so low. This is why many overseas buyers want to buy from 1688.com. There are a couple of issues with 1688 that a lot of overseas buyers run into. The first one would be language barrier. 1688 is for the Chinese market. So international buyers will find that the website only supports Chinese when you visit 1688. This is also the reason why most international buyers seek agents when purchasing on 1688.com. So if you do not speak Chinese, you can browse the 1688 website with the help of a translator tool. The second issue people typically have with 1688 is the payment method. How can you actually pay the manufacturer? In addition to the language, the biggest problem for international buyers to purchase on 1688 are the payments. Because the suppliers are only supporting payment methods such as WeChat, domestic bank transfers in China, a lot of international buyers, they tend to lean towards agents in order for them to make the payment. As an international buyer, if you want to buy on 1688.com, you need to have a Chinese bank card because most suppliers do not support PayPal or overseas payment methods. This is a huge obstacle for most people. However, recently 1688 has introduced a payment method suitable for foreign buyers. However, on the other side, you have to have Alipay and you have to know someone in China to set it up. But they also are offering more cross-border payment options. So I'm hoping that they do introduce invoicing for PayPal, for instance, in order for those international buyers to purchase directly from the platform. The third issue is shipping. Most of 1688 suppliers can only ship goods in China because it is a Chinese domestic platform. It is difficult for people to provide express air freight services and to invoice you. It is difficult for them to provide express air freight services and invoices, packaging lists, and custom documents to ship goods abroad. So if you do not have a friend in China or an agent to help you receive the packages locally, you must use a freight forwarding company in China. But 1688 also have some suppliers that have international trade departments. If your supplier is also doing foreign trade, then you do not have to worry about problems with shipping or transportation. The last thing are these quality control and inspections. This is probably the biggest concern for customers. If you can overlook all the above problems, how do you control the quality before shipping? In fact, this is the same as purchasing on other platforms, even if it is AliExpress or Alibaba. You can check the quality of the products through third-party quality inspection companies or a purchasing agent before delivery. I'll talk more about that in the next video. So having those inspections before the products are shipped to you are very important. If you connect with the supplier, Usually the inspection fee can run you about $600 at a time. However, they can be as low as $50, but it really just depends on the type of agent you hire to do the quality control and the inspections. So can foreigners actually buy from 1688 directly? And the answer is absolutely yes, but only if you have a Chinese bank account. You can easily register on 1688, find the products that you need, add them to your shipping cart, and voila, no problem at all. You have no issues. You can get your products right away. However, for those who do not live in China, you do not have a Chinese bank account. There are other avenues to purchasing products on 1688. So how do you do this? Have a registered bank account, register an account with 1688, or the last thing is to find an agent. An agent is very, very important, and we'll talk about that more in the next video. But if you need an agent, definitely find one first before you start sourcing on 1688. So in conclusion, 1688 is actually a really good platform to source on. With a little bit of time, headaches, coffee, and maybe even some type of energy drink. If you put the time into sourcing on that platform, you definitely are going to find some amazing manufacturers. So in the next video, we'll talk about how to find a sourcing agent and also a shipping company for 1688. In the meantime, make sure you follow us on all our platforms, visit our website, and email us for more questions. Thank you.